Hi, church. I want to talk to you about our Stewardship Awareness campaign. This week, you received a commitment letter, and that's a chance for you to look at your personal finances and see what it is that you'll be able to commit to giving to the church in the year 2022. This allows the trustees to make plans and to make preparations for our church budget. This is not about us getting all up in people's business, and not at all. It is simply a way to help the trustees in preparing next year's budget. And it's also good for you to be able to look at your own resources and then be able to make a plan and follow through with that in the coming year. This week, I want to talk to you about being generous. Hey, we talked about generosity last week, didn't we? Being generous with the intangibles that God has given you. Think of that. God has given each of us many things that we can't see, we can't hear, we can't look at. Those are things like our experiences, our knowledge, our expertise, time. Yes, time is a huge resource that we have that can be shared with others. Just think, all the time that you have in a day, God has given you, and He tells you to steward that well. So my encouragement for you this week is to give time to another person. Make it someone that you usually wouldn't invest time in. You know, there's those people in life and you're thinking, oh, I should, I've been meaning to, it would be great. Or, it's those people too that would just love to hear from you. Maybe they want to hear from you a little bit more than you want to, hear. You know what I'm talking about right there. Yeah. Give some time this week. Maybe that's you send some text messages. Maybe you write them a card. Maybe you pick it up and phone someone and talk to them. Maybe you can go by their house and knock on the door and say, hey, how are you doing? Whatever it is, my encouragement to you this week is to give some time. We see a biblical story about Jesus giving time. And we see it in John chapter 4 as Jesus encounters what we know as the Samaritan woman. And the background on this story is that Jesus, who is a Jew, tends not to talk to this woman who is a Samaritan. So it's not a Jesus and the woman thing, it's a Samaritan and the Jew thing. And they did not have conversations. But when Jesus sees this woman, He goes up and begins to talk to her. And He asks her for some water, of all things. Jesus is thirsty. He's like, can you give me a little help from the well? And as the conversation goes on, Jesus explains, actually, we should be reversing this. You should be asking me for water, Jesus says, because, I'm the living water. And if you drink from me, you'll never go thirsty again. And the woman's like, show me this living water. And the conversation continues on as Jesus explains that indeed He is the special one that has been sent by God. And as the story ends, this woman recognizes Jesus for who He is. He is the Christ. He is the Messiah. He is the true Son of God. I've got a couple of videos for you right below this one that tell this story out of John chapter 4. There is one with live animation. There is also one that has animated characters, whichever one or both that you like. I encourage you to check it out. And as you're watching it, I want you to think, how is Jesus using time as a resource? How is Jesus stewarding His time well to invest in this woman? Because that fits right back into our challenge this week. Invest time in another person. Church, we can do that this week. We're going to make some lives better around us because we're going to give some time to the people who God has put into our path.